Welcome to the Careering Podcast, a collection of rants and reckons on all things career, hosted by author and creator of Careering 9, Melissa Davies, and her partner in crime, Kelsie. If you're brave enough, take a seat, settle in and listen as we tackle difficult career and workplace issues. Sometimes we'll be wrong, sometimes we'll be right, but we will deliver it with confidence and a touch of colourful language, so it will at least be entertaining. Welcome back to the Careering Podcast. Thank you for coming back. It's me, Melissa Davies, and I'm here as always with the fabulous Kelsie Ingalls.
Oh, kia ora, kia ora. Kete pehekwe?
Oh, kete pai.
That's the subtitle of my Māori.
Is it?
Yeah, apologies. I could not continue a rest of the conversation. I want to get there, but just not today. And I love that you answered me, so thank you.
Welcome.
How are you going? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm doing well, actually. I'm excited for sunshiny days and longer evenings. This time of year is so good.
Fuck yes. I can't imagine being in North America and having this time of the year be cold and snowy and bleh.
Yeah, but then we could sit inside and just eat.
Yeah, but we do that in winter anyway. At least we can have some time off over Christmas and New Year.
But people judge me for having scorched almonds for breakfast in winter here, whereas on Christmas...
Who are these people and why are you friends with them? Because
Okay.
I shouldn't.
Okay, fair. What's been happening for you? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I guess you're asking me what my theme of the week is.
I am, but without saying it. So
Yeah.
nice mind reading.
Sorry. I like being blunt. You know that. I'm just sitting here having snugs with your fat ginger cat, and
He's happy. He's very happy.
he's just so sweet and he's so cuddly and he's just purring away.
Adopt, don't shop.
And don't shop. But I was just, my theme of the week is just sometimes you just need a cuddle from a little human or an animal, and that's okay. And you know what? They are cute and they make life better, and just lean into it and have a cuddle with an animal or a small human, preferably a small human or an animal that you own and or are related to, and there's consent. But don't just fucking go to a park and hug a random kid. Please don't do that. That's not what I'm advocating for.
Yeah, Kelsie did not endorse that.
No, it's not endorsing. I mean, I did see a TikTok the other day of two girls sitting in a park with a sign that says "We'll give free snugs," and so they were sitting there, and all the dogs just came up and gave them pets, and I was like, "Is that all it takes? Do I just have to sit there with a sign? If you can't find me on a weekend, you know where I am."
He lurking in a dog park trying to get cuddles.
Yeah, just with a sign. Just a random lady sitting on the side of the street with a sign.
I applaud that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm all about the snugs this week.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you? What's going on? What's your theme of the week?
And my theme of the week is just so used to everything.
Oh.
Apart from creepy things, obviously.
Apart from creepy things. Have you ever watched that Jim Carrey movie where he can't lie?
Yes. A long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know why that made me think you had to say yes. No,
He does. He does say yes to everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ricky Gervais is the one that can't lie.
No, there is the Jim Carrey one that's called Liar Liar.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've even watched it. I don't really
There's
like Jim
ages
Carrey.
ago. I don't know. I shouldn't have talked with authority on this topic. Apologies.
Should have made a mistake. Anyway, say yes to shit.
Okay.
I think we can overthink things, and sometimes you've just got to be like,
Snug that cat.
screw it, let's do it.
Yeah, sometimes some of the best moments of your life are the ones where you just go, fuck it, why not?
Apart from when I make you do shit, hey girls.
Melissa tends to get me into situations, and then she's like, I don't know whether we should do this. And I'm like, I'm already here. I'm doing it. Fucking do not leave me hanging. We were in Samoa together, and I was jumping off all the fucking things, and Melissa was like, no, not today.
But enough about me. We're actually here today to have a conversation and get to know Kelsie as she's curling up her top lip in disgust at the thought of it. And I'm like, bitch, you're seated, you have a microphone, you're doing this.
I talk about my stories all the time. You're the one that just usually comes at me with the questions. So how's this for you?
Yeah, because you do it in a really beautiful, self-effacing way and bring that humour. And today, love a Kath and Kim reference. But today, Kelsie and girls, this is your life.
Oh, God.
We're going to hear a bit more about, Young, naive, simple Kelsie. I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
You're not wrong. Kelsie had lots of feelings when she was little.
I was thinking more of, 16-year-old Kelsie.
She probably had more feelings because she was a teenager.
Yes, and how you blossomed into the beautiful badass bitch you are.
Not a
today.
good enough reason to use the word blossom.
Right.
No, absolutely not.
You can see how Kels and I both deal with discomfort. Kels brings the shock, horror, and humour.
Ugh. I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, I'll only make you more uncomfortable from here on in. I'm sorry.
I thought you were gonna be nice to me, but no. Okay, let's
I'm
go.
going to ask you some questions.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Question number 1, Kelsie.
Jesus Christ, yeah. I feel like I'm being interrogated.
When you think back to your 16-year-old self, what are the things you wish you knew then that you now know?
Fuck you, man. You can't just go from our lovely chat about you and it's all, easy questions and you're just like, here are some existential crisis questions. Fuck you, dude.
I'm going to ask you the career trajectory ones too, but I kind of feel like you've mentioned a few times that you'd love to do a podcast and you still might do your own podcast, which is focusing on the advice that we would give our younger selves. And I was like, yeah, so you must have thought about what that advice would be for you.
No, I haven't. You've made some assumptions.
Well, now that you've got time to think about it.
Now that we're here and I've got a microphone and now I have to make something up. Actually, that's a good one. Everything is made up. Literally everything is made up. The way that we function in society, money, all of the different parts of our life, the way we set up our families, what society expects of us, all of it. All of it's fucking made up and none of it fucking matters. And there's 700,000 billion ways to live a good life. And it doesn't fucking matter. Chill the fuck out. That's what I would have told my 16-year-old self.
Nice. I like that. That sounds awesome.
Because why is it that we put on 16, 17, 18-year-olds that they have to pick the thing that they're going to go to university for and then spend their life doing? I could have barely picked what fucking thing I was going to wear to school that day, let alone pick my fucking lifetime career. I don't understand why we put this on these kids to go, choose now and get $40,000 worth of debt to go with it.
Is that what happened for you?
No.
What happened for you?
Because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I was like, do I go to film school? Do I go and do marketing? I don't know what I want to do. And my dad was working at Nelson Marlborough Institute of Tech at the time. And he goes, you can do your Bachelor of Commerce in Nelson and local school leavers get half a degree for free.
Oh.
So I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to go and spend, 20 grand for half a degree at Vic or whatever. And if I don't know if this is the path I want to take for the rest of my life. So fuck it. Sure. I said yes. And, did half of my degree. So I did half a degree for free there. So it was a year and a half that I didn't have to pay any fees. And then I had won a scholarship coming out of school. And so that paid for the other half of my degree.
Nice.
So I walked away with pretty much no debt. Took a couple of student allowances for a few holidays in Australia. Maybe a new computer. But,
essentials.
The essentials. I spent the mid-semester holidays in my first year travelling from Sydney to Cairns, care of the New Zealand government, but we won't talk about that.
You were collecting life experiences.
Yeah.
That's a great investment.
Yeah, it was character development.
What was a life lesson that you learned on that trip? You don't have to say the one that we're both Another life lesson. A different life lesson.
It's a small fucking world and people will don't get tattoos when you're drunk. That's my life lessons. Don't get tattoos when you're drunk.
Did you do that or did somebody else?
No, I did do that and I bled quite a lot. But that's a life lesson.
It is a life lesson.
Yeah.
It's put you in good stead since.
Jesus, this is not setting me up to feel... The whole point of these conversations was supposed to be that Kelsey's actually got experience in her field. Now I just sound like a fucking idiot.
You sound like a good time.
It was a good time, I'm not going to lie. I had great fun.
Okay, I'll ask you some more serious questions. So with your studies, what did you enjoy about it?
Oh, God. Studying was hard. Studying was hard work.
What parts of studying were hard?
All of it. Concentrating. Concentrating on the thing was difficult. It was also really hard not going to a university when all of my other friends were at a university and that was the thing that you were supposed to do. And so, like, talking about everything is made up, there was all these pressures that I put on myself because my degree wasn't worth it because I didn't go to a university. And I was like, well, actually... My fucking marketing lecturer used to be the head of marketing for Ford in South Africa. And I'm like, that's some good experience that you're getting from there. And we had classes of 40 people. So it meant that, everyone got the help that they needed to. It was almost like an elite school, but without the paycheck, without the cost to it.
It also sounds like the learning experience was really enhanced, whereas I think the perception of a uni experience is more the social side of things. Right?
Yeah. It was definitely took a hit on my social life in terms of didn't have a lot of those formative uni experiences that people did. Doesn't mean I didn't go out drinking every fucking weekend. But what it did mean was that I didn't form those sort of relationships that you would normally in that first year of uni, but found them in other places. And we ended up with a really cool group of people that all sort of went through all the way through together.
So while you were a student, were you studying full-time or did you work part-time as well?
So studied full-time and worked part-time.
Yeah.
So all the way through in my last year, I worked at a bookshop / Kiwi Bank / post shop so I studied Monday until half day on Thursday, and then I would hus it back for the afternoon, spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at work, and then start again. And then in the evenings I worked at a bar.
And you still managed to build social connection and piss up on the weekends.
Yeah, because I worked at a bar on the weekends. Yeah.
Awesome. That's pretty full. How did you survive the pressures of that? Because that's quite intense.
I lived at home.
Yeah.
So it made it a fuck ton easier because I just got to stay with my parents. So I was that cool 20-year-old that still lived with the parents. I tried to move out at one point and read, this is fucking awful. Why do people do this? And moved back home.
Clever. You can do everything, just not all at once.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. And so no, it took a lot of the pressure off because I did live at home. Yeah. And so I didn't have to. The money that I was earning was for social occasions, and I was saving to go overseas as well. So,
yeah. So speaking of going overseas, that was, I know, an ambition for you in recent years.
Yes.
And somehow you've landed technically overseas from where you were. Because you were in Wellington, and then there's the Cook Strait, and now there's the South Island.
Over a little sea.
A little sea, very tumultuous little sea. And you've landed here in Christchurch. I always want to jump forward to what you're doing now.
Here in Christchurch?
Yeah.
I work at a creative and digital marketing agency. And so I don't know how to best describe my job. I was doing marketing strategy, and now
What are you responsible for?
Responsible for making money. Making sure that we make money and that our clients are happy.
Yeah, nice.
So that's probably the easiest way to put it. So I work with our client engagement team, and I work with our sales team and our design team and our marketing team to make sure that the products that we're offering and the way that we're offering it are what our clients in the market actually need.
And so you have a team that you're responsible for, a P&L that you're responsible for, and quite a significant role for the business, making sure that revenue comes into the business.
Yes. Stressful.
Have you done roles like this previously?
Probably not exactly like this. Done almost like the last two jobs before this were a mashup of this thing. So job before that was leading marketing and campaigns for Wellington region. And so had a multi-million-dollar budget and a team to look after, but got to do lots of creative stuff and lots of really cool things, which was awesome and be on client side. And then before that, I was an account manager, senior account manager at another agency in Wellington, looking after big government clients, and was in charge of my own client book and P&L, etc.
Interestingly, because we're friends, so I know this, the pace of the work was really different, right? So that account management role was busy but consistent compared to your time promoting Wellington. COVID happened, things became fucking frenetic.
Yeah, I thought so. My job at the agency in Wellington was fucking busy. And I think I was there for 4 or 5 years. And so sort of in the middle, it got real hectic and was working really heavy. And then I put some really strong boundaries in place to kind of claw my life back. And then the other job, it was COVID response, and it was reactive, and it was running, and it was, like turning around event marketing in 4 or 5 weeks. We had a campaign that we turned around in 2 weeks, like full video content, full social channels, everything. We shot 32 mini ads in a year, like with TVNZ. It was insane, but fucking cool.
And impactful, right? So the results speak for themselves. And outperformed other regions in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah. There was this real camaraderie in Wellington as well. It was like, fuck yes, we are here and we are ready to help everybody and we're all here to be a part of this thing. And the team that I was working with were just fucking badass. Like, we just got shit done. But the pace of it was insane.
Yeah. And interestingly, though, there was an opportunity to take on a bigger responsibility or a more permanent capacity for that role, right?
Yeah, and like it wasn't, just like to be really clear, this wasn't like the organisation setting up that expectation of how that worked, but I was so fucking involved in it and so like threw so much of myself into it. And I had that real moment, like that real, okay, I have to actually take a moment and actually go, do I want to do this long term?
How did you decide?
I wrote a big list of pros and cons. I was like, but well, ultimately, I think it was actually talking to my mum, and she went, Kelsie, you're talking like you've already moved to Christchurch. Like, you've made a choice.
Yeah, you just haven't realised it.
Yeah, she was like, you haven't realised. Everyone else has. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. But I think I knew, because I wasn't supposed to be back in Wellington. I tried to leave Wellington multiple times.
Yeah, your toxic Wellington relationship.
Yeah.
I was going to tease that because you mentioned before about how you were you'd sold everything, you were back in Motueka, and then you had to buy everything. And I was like, tell us about why that was in place.
Because I fell down a step at a party and I ended up not working for 6 months. That's the short version of the story.
But the better version is that you were committing to moving overseas.
Yeah, so I loved my job at the agency that I was at in Wellington, and the people that I worked with were incredible. The husband and wife team that owned the business were incredible, and I decided in October 2018 that I needed to, I'd done 4 or 5 years there, and I was just repeating. It was the same stuff over and over again. I wasn't growing. I wasn't doing anything. And I hadn't been overseas yet because I'd been so focused on growing my career first. I was like, I have to get out of this bubble. I have to get out of this. And so I took them to Florida's, and I texted them at 8 o'clock the night before. I went, can we get coffee in the morning?
So you had a breakup meeting.
I had to break up with my bosses because I just loved them so much. Like, I used to babysit their dog. He used to know when we were getting to the bottom of my hill because he'd just freak out in the back of my car and he'd come and stay with me and my flatmates for the weekend. He was the beasties. And so I texted him. I was like, can we have coffee in the morning? And they were like, oh God, yeah. So I sat them down at Florida's. So I was like, just sobbing in the middle of a cafe. My boss, she was crying, and the other one was going, wow, as we get older and, we're not getting any younger either. And I was like, oh my God, it's turned into this existential conversation. But because I didn't have any set plan, I was like, I want to tell you this now, but I think I don't want to leave until March next year. Let's see the rest of the financial year through. Yeah. And I'll leave then. So at least it's nice and tidy for you, nice and tidy for clients, super easy to deal with. So that all happened. Came back after Christmas leave, and I was like, yes, I'm going to do my final hurrah to Wellington. It's going to be amazing. I did all of this stuff, and I was like saying goodbye to everyone, and they were going out and they were hiring someone, and they'd found someone, and she'd signed the contract, and she was going to start on the 1st of April, and it was all just turning out perfectly. And then I went to a party in the middle of February, and I was trying to walk through like a little area, like a little gap in the gate in the fence, and there was like a little step, and there was all these people standing around it, and I went to walk through, and someone else went to walk through, and my ankle rolled off the side of the step and under me. And trigger warning, gore warning, I'm going to get a little bit gross for a second, so if you don't want to listen to this, just fast forward it. I ended up swiping my shin, the bottom of my shin across the corner of the step, and I ripped it open and tore through the main tendon that connects your foot to your leg, so your tibialis anterior.
So typical Kels does nothing by halves, has to go full tit on everything, like really committed to the injury here.
So I got up and I was like, oh, rolled my ankle. Oh, God. Got up, wandered around, went to try and find my friend. So walked back through the fence, walked back to the other house because it was 2 houses next to each other. And then went, why is my foot wet? I turned my torch on my phone and I looked down and I was like, my green shoe is now brown. That doesn't look good. And then ruined, as my friend tells me frequently, that I ruined his night because he had to take me to the ER. And they couldn't close it because it was so big. So I ended up having to go out and get out to the hospital and get my tendon reattached and a skin graft to close it. So they took a 6 by 10 centimetre square from my thigh and put it on the bottom of my leg. And I ended up in one cast every week for 6 weeks. So they had to keep the front of it open so they could change all the bandages on the plastic surgery, but they had to have the cast there to set the tendon. And my job was incredible. They like rostered on designers and like different people to take me to the hospital every week to my appointments. They came to my house for meetings. They were absolutely amazing. They tricked me into a goodbye dinner because I didn't want one. And they got one of the ladies that I worked with a real cute kid, said, come and have like fish and chips with me on the beach with me and my daughter, and it'll be our last hurrah. And she put me in the car and she took me to a big party with all my workmates, and I was like, fuck that. You guys.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And my mum came to, because I had obviously, like, it was the last 6 weeks. Oh, that's the other part. The elevator in our building had broken at the start of the year, and they'd taken the whole entire elevator out of the building, so I never got to go back into the office. And they'd hired the new girl the day before I did my accident, so I just ended up, and I'd given up the lease on my house, so I ended up with no house, no job, couldn't walk, couldn't go to Australia, and my mum had to come to Wellington and pack up my car and put all my stuff in it and help me clean my house and move me back home at 29 to my parents' house. So my whole life changed.
Yeah, so the plans that you had and what actually happened, very different.
Yep.
But you made the most of that. Like, I remember you did a chunk of, you took all your professional skills and helped out a charitable organisation when you were in Motueka with your family. Yeah,
I did Good Bitches Baking annual appeal, did a couple of little freelance projects.
Why was it important to do those things?
Because I felt like I'd lost everything. And now I look back on it and go, fucking chill the fuck out. It's not that important. You didn't die. It's absolutely fine. I think the big thing for me was everyone around me was trying to be so supportive, but I'd lost all autonomy. Like, I couldn't go anywhere unless someone took me somewhere. I couldn't, like, during the 6 weeks that I was in my cast, I lived in a 5-story house. I had to have my flatmates deliver me breakfast and lunch in a little cooler bag to the bed before they went to work for the day, and then I just had to sit there and wait for them to come home like I was their pet. Like, my flatmates are incredible. They're absolutely amazing. Like, they'd make me little salads for lunch and put them in a little chiller bag for me and, like, put me with my snacks because I couldn't go anywhere.
I feel like this was the universe's way of saying, hey, Miss Independent, it's okay to let people help you.
Yeah. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself and things that I needed to change. I needed to learn how to let go of control and stop, you can't plan for fucking everything. Yeah, it was that moment. And I've seen other people go through it where suddenly the universe just gets rid of all your ties.
Yeah.
And goes, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Buckle in, buttercup.
And also some rest, right? Because you'd had, by this stage, quite a long, like more than a decade of sprinting. Like,
yeah.
Working, studying, working on weekends, doing work that was really demanding. Like, you hadn't actually had a rest.
No. And to be fair, I didn't really take a rest while I was doing it either.
Well, you had some forced rest.
Yeah.
When you were sitting at home like a pet, as you described it.
But I forced them to let me work because my favourite thing to do was, my brain isn't broken, it's my leg. But, you know, there's still the trauma of that event, and also...
Were you taking medication?
Yeah, fucking tramadol. That shit fucks you up.
Oh, everything looks purple when you take that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it taught me some life lessons, how to chill the fuck out.
Do you think that some of those lessons, or how have those lessons carried on into your current work environment?
I think it's just taught me, especially when other people are freaking out over things, it's just like, it's fine. Everything's fixable. There is always a different, like, you know, it might not be the ideal situation, but there will be a solution. Like, there is always a different way of looking at things and a different path to take. And I think we get ourselves into a situation where we get so tightly focused on this thing that we want. And I think that's, you know, harking back to our, like, goal setting conversation where I get so, like, arced up about it. It's because you can't... Yes, you need to be able to go in a direction, but you need to be flexible because life doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, step in Wellington.
Yep. Like a step in Wellington where I thought I'd rolled my ankle ended up with me not walking for 6 months and having to have complete rehabilitation, and like to now, like my foot still, I had to retrain myself how to walk, and such a small thing can alter your life. Life doesn't give a fuck what your plans are. It'll do whatever it wants.
Yeah, that's so true. And, you know, when you were at uni, so let's go back to then, were you someone who had a real plan for everything and a plan for what you thought your career would be like once you graduated?
No. I think I was really lost, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever had a big plan on where I wanted to be. I think I kind of talked myself into a plan because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a plan. And I went to do my commerce degree, and so in the first year they ask you to do a whole lot of management papers, a whole lot of accounting papers, and a whole lot of marketing papers before you pick a major.
Oh, yeah.
And I just went, marketing's the easiest. I'll do that. And then afterwards I was like, oh, well, I've got a marketing degree now. Oh, I suppose I want to work in an advertising agency. That's what people want to do, right? And so kind of just followed that pathway, and then have just sort of ended up here.
There was a sneaky little sideways move into the world of peanut butter for a while, though.
That was because finished uni halfway through the year. So I did a 3.5 year double major and took off to America and Canada for 6 months. And my mum and dad forced me to come back to graduate. So suddenly I was back, didn't have a plan, didn't have a job. No one wanted to hire me. I couldn't get a job anywhere. Because I didn't have a plan and didn't know where I wanted to go, I didn't want to move to a city because I was like, I don't fucking know what is going to happen. And then I signed up to do my master's, and then signed up to do a postgrad diploma. And that day I got an office admin job at Pic's Peanut Butter, and got picked to do set up the Tasman Marco rugby social media internship, both on the same day. I went, fuck the postgrad, give me the job.
Yeah, I'm going to have some money.
Yeah. Well, because every time I applied for a job, everyone went, well, we can't hire you because you don't have any experience.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing that I did was not taking an internship while I was studying.
Did you not work part-time? No, you did.
I worked part-time.
Yeah, I'm like, you did.
But no, I didn't work in marketing.
Oh, I see.
So I had no marketing expertise.
They wanted applied knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I was like...
You're like, I can make some great shots, though.
Yeah. I was like, I can tell you all of the details about all the different types of interest on Kiwi bank accounts. And I can talk to you about how much postage costs. But, it was... I just kept hearing over and over again, you don't have any marketing experience. We want a grad, but you don't have any marketing experience, so we don't want a grad.
A grad.
A grade. Yeah. So
We want a grad plus.
yeah, and so that's where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to take this unpaid internship with the Tasman Micro Rugby team because it's social media and that will give me some marketing experience. And while that's happening, I'll take this 20 hours a week office admin assistant job with Pix Peanut Butter. And it ended up being 40 hours a week, and I ended up being the marketing assistant and ended up organising the Vogel's Pix Peanut Butter partnership and tour all around New Zealand.
And so what do you think, if you look back at when you think you were sort of jumping into an admin role, yet you end up as a marketing assistant and doing a cool campaign, what led to that?
Saying yes. I also knew, I'd heard everyone's piece of advice was just get a fucking office job and they'll give you the marketing. Just get an office job and they'll give you the marketing. If they don't have a marketing team, they will give you the marketing to do because you're young and they think you know social media. That was the advice that I got. And so I went, fuck it. Yeah, give me an office admin job. And of course, that's exactly what happened. And because of that job, it led me to getting the job in Wellington with you.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was your lens. You were the social media person in that role.
Yeah.
Did you actually like social media?
Oh, yeah. Was it right? But like websites more.
Yeah, but so it wasn't your passion?
Nah. And to be honest, like I was just kind of going, yeah, sure. Why not? Absolutely. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I ended up being the digital channels manager and I think I had like 10 websites and 20 social media channels to manage across like 7 different brands.
Yeah.
And was like building websites for like international animation and gaming conferences.
Yeah, it was epic. But interestingly too, like none of that was your passion. That you were going, I'm just going to take a job in a field that I've got some experience and qualification in now, and I'm just going to say yes to things. Yeah. And then it ended up being in a space that you actually really enjoy.
Yeah, and I loved the team.
Yeah, so you can enjoy your work and it doesn't have to be your big calling.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was more of I think my lens on life is experiences. I want to know lots of different things and try lots of different things and do lots of different things. And because it was just me as sort of in that coordination space digitally, I just got given all of these things to do. And even at Pix Peanut Butter, I managed all of the barcoding and all of the product recall. I managed I managed all the customer complaints. It was just the weirdest selection of jobs, but it meant that I just went, yep, cool, I know how to do that. Yep, absolutely, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep, I did all of the ordering for all of the countdowns and all of the pack and saves across New Zealand. Say yes.
Say yes. Weirdly, we're so aligned on that.
Yeah.
That's so random. Yeah, so saying yes to things has also led you to some pretty cool destinations like China. Talk us through how that came about.
So nepotism. No, my dad was the head of the international department at Nelson Marlborough Institute of Tech, and I was standing in the kitchen on my crutches at home.
So this is in your injured phase?
This is my injured phase, and I was just learning how to walk, and I'd just been taken out of the moon boot. And I hadn't been given permission to drive yet, so I was still on double crutches. And I had been to the physio, and she had told me, because what happens when you've been in a cast for that long and you've been in a moon boot for that long, you lose all of your nerve endings become extremely intense.
Oh, yeah.
And you lose all the muscle and everything, and you just end up with one chicken leg. And so she was making me stand in the kitchen and rub my foot on the cold tiles I could get the sensations back in my foot without it being overwhelming. And he comes in and he goes, hey, do you want to go to China? And I was like, I can't fucking walk. No. And he goes, think about it. And so it just started these conversations, and I went, look, I would really love to go, because he wanted me to go and teach marketing to business and IT students. And I sort of said to him, look, I don't want to go by myself. I am still on crutches. I can't walk properly. I don't want to go by myself. And so he went, well, what if you taught communications and Melissa taught marketing and she went with you? And I went, yes, I will talk to her. And I called you and you went, yes. When are we going?
So excited.
Yeah. But it was weird because you'd been talking about how much you wanted to go overseas and how much you wanted to go back to China. And suddenly there was just like this opportunity.
It was so good.
And then it turns out that the girl that we went with, I worked for her parents at the bookstore post-shop Kiwi Bank all the way through university. So I knew her super well as well.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She taught accounting, you taught marketing, and I taught professional communications.
Kelsie had a whole class of 70 students in China saying, "Kia ora, Kelsie," every morning.
Every morning I made them say kia ora to me. And they were amazing. They just absolutely picked up and run with it. But my whole topic was about how we relate to each other at work and workplace dynamics and how we communicate to each other well within an organisation and how to be aware of each other's styles of communication.
Do you think that your way of working has changed as a result of that time in China?
100%. I've learned so much more theoretically because I had to teach it. But it also it's just sort of, I think what it really hit home to me was about perception and about, like, it comes back to that thing where it's all made up. Everything in the world is made up, but we also all have our own version of what is made up.
Yeah, that's so true.
And we all make it up ourselves.
Yeah, that was such a cool experience. And you stayed on for longer than me, though. So we went travelling for a bit around China and saw giant pandas, which was epic.
And, like, went to the fucking Terracotta Warriors, and there was nobody there.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was just the most incredible... We just did some cool shit.
Yeah, we did. China's epic. And
we went on a food tour where they led us through someone's window up a fire escape, and someone had set up a noodle restaurant in their house.
And they were such good noodles.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Like, in the Sichuan province, definitely eat all of the foods.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a different topic.
When you think back to what, if you reflect back on your time in China, like, an environment you hadn't been in before, doing work that you don't normally do, teaching a subject that you've never taught before.
Just learning to walk.
Just learning to walk again, having gone through this process of grieving the plans that you thought you had. What are some of the skills that you had that you think helped you navigate that complexity?
I think if I hadn't have had the problem-solving skills that I got from working at the agency, I don't think I would have got through that as easily as we did, because when someone comes to you as a business and goes, "I've got this problem, how would you fix it?" You just have to develop these problem solving skills that actually is just a process, and you can apply it to all areas of your life. And I think that is, like, definitely one of them. The other one is all those group projects and all those things where they make you stand up in front of the class and talk are really fucking important if you're going to end up teaching. I honestly think it was that is actually a skill I've taken back into my daily life. Is you could give me a topic and I could get up and stand up and talk about it for an hour and wouldn't have a problem after having to, like, do slides at 5 a.m. the morning of presenting it for 3 hours.
Yeah. And not being professional teachers, we had to learn the whole system, the grading system, everything. Like, it was a lot of being comfortable being on the fly. Yeah,
but I don't think I truly don't think you would have survived it if you didn't have a baseline ability of problem solving.
Yeah. And self-belief.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have put yourself...
Or just, like, blind optimism.
Both.
like it'd get to a point where something would happen and we'd just look at each other and be like,
China. Yeah. You got...
Get used to it.
You do. You get really... Yeah, that's probably an extension of what you were saying earlier about knowing that you can't control a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so in China, you just roll with it. Like, even just trying to figure out how to catch a DD, which is like an Uber, like, and using Google Translate for everything. Like, there's just...
Yeah. And I mean,
figure it out.
All of us got sick at some point. We all had to figure that out. And yeah, it was just, I think if I hadn't have gone through the work at the agency, I don't think I would have survived as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially under pressure and timeline pressures as well.
Yeah, because in the agency world, there was big deliverables that were important to the client and important to your business, right? So,
and important to New Zealand, because we were dealing with, like, some big government agencies and some very hefty deliverables.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that pressure and knowing how to keep your shit together under pressure for the team that you're working with, but also for your client.
Yeah.
That's a skill set that has been really useful.
Yeah, and I also think, even in the example before, your ability to not personalize it. And when there's a problem, you're not going, "Oh my God, I'm a failure." You might internally, but your behavior is, "I'm at work and I need to fix things." Like, your internal dialogue might be different, but how you're showing up.
Yeah, because if there's a problem, what's the fucking point of you sitting there and going, "Oh God, what was me?" It's like, there's a fucking problem. Fix it and then go, woe is me.
Yeah.
Like, you can have time for that later, but fix the problem.
You can have time for that with Jen later.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, how can you sit there and go, woe is me, when you don't have all the information?
Yeah.
Because no one ever has all of the information at a point where a problem's brought up.
Yeah.
And so I think being able to understand that is really important.
Do you think that those skills started to develop in your time at Pix as well, where you were just thrown into chaos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd just be days where you'd just be like, suddenly you're doing this thing. And it's like, fucking sink or swim.
Yeah. And also, do you think some permission comes with that too, where it's your first time doing some of those tasks? So it's okay to learn on the job?
Yeah, I think so. I think youth kind of was on my side, was the fact that it was expected that I was going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. I remember Pick flew us to New Plymouth, and I sold peanut butter on toast for 3 days at WOMAD. Like, and just like, in the piss pouring rain with these toasters, and I'm like, this looks like a health and safety issue, but I did all the paperwork. Oh well. Like, I was working in my early 20s. I was doing health and safety paperwork for this shit. I was like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out.
How do you bring some of that into your current work? Because that's awesome.
Like, what do you mean?
That mindset of, oh fuck it, we'll just figure it out, let's give it a go.
I think,
because it can often get lost, right? As you become more senior and get more responsibility, that creativity and entrepreneurship gets often smacked out of you.
Yeah, it does. And it gets all about risk. And I think one big thing that I've really noticed in my sort of newer roles is all of the hypotheticals.
Oh, yeah.
Risk is hypotheticals. And it's made on like potential things happening, or hypothetical things happening. And these outcomes therefore come from that. I'm like, you are 7 steps down the path. We haven't got to that point yet. You need to be able to find the information and give people options before we get to that point. And if we're not knowing this work up front, that shit will happen. But it's still a hypothetical at this stage, and we still have an opportunity to fix it. So let's try something different. Let's do it this way.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've really developed the ability to thrive in a crisis.
I thought you were going to say talk shit.
Both of those things. They're not mutually exclusive.
This is why you asked me to do the podcast with you, right?
Yeah. And you'd bring some good stories. So how do you, what's it like for you when things are calm at work?
Boring. It's a place I thrive. I strive to get to.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether I could work in an organisation that was good. Like, as in just like floating along easy. I don't think I thrive on fixing things.
Yeah.
And so at an agency, it's great because there's always something to fix, because there's always a new client project. There's always a new thing that someone needs help with.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the business that you're in, it's the clients that you're working for.
Or each project needs a fix.
Yeah. And I'm like, I say it to everyone around me at work. I'm a starter. I'm not a finisher.
Yeah.
I thrive in starting. I thrive in figuring out how we're going to get there. That's why I do strategy. That's why I sit in the strategy world, because I don't want to do the input, like the actual output of it. I just want to figure out how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like good strategists in the world that we work in that space. And so like we've got an amazing digital strategist at work who thrives in that space as well. Can do the implementation, but strength and skill set is there at the start.
Yeah, so there's a real piece in that, and knowing your strength and what you thrive, what environment you thrive in, and choosing roles and opportunities and saying no to ones that would force you to behave the opposite, like if you were in a delivery team.
Yeah. I mean, no. Not at the moment. I think also being open to understanding that about yourself is really important.
Yeah.
I think, when I decided I was going to move to Australia, I wanted to go and do production for video. But now I look at it and go, fuck, I would have hated it, because I would have gone, oh no, I actually have to do all the things. I have to book the cars and, rather than do the plan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good at the plan. I'm not good at the actual doing the thing.
Apart from when we go on holiday, you're really good at planning holidays.
Yeah, but then we get there and you're like, right, let's go and do this, and let's go and do this.
Yeah.
And you do the implementation. I just kind of book the stuff.
Yeah, I think about all the fun shit we can do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I'm really good at booking accommodation.
Yeah, you really are. And I was thinking about that, like, when you were working for the agency in Wellington, you got to do some really cool shit on the West Coast and the South Island.
Yeah, it was fucking cool.
And there was chaos, right? There was weather disasters.
We got stuck there for days.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that, so for some people that would be really overwhelming. But I reckon if you're looking back on your career, that would be one of the highlight experiences that you've had. So talk us through what that was like.
So we had a client who wanted to film a whole lot of stuff on the West Coast and had a film crew ready to go, just the coolest people, and had another creative from the agency that I was at. And it was my job to cost it all and figure out how we're going to do it and how the stories were going to work. And, you know, in that kind of production, when you're working with talent that you don't know, you have to hope and pray that you're going to get something out of them, because sometimes people suck in front of a camera. Like, you can have all the best story in the world, but sometimes they suck in front of a camera. And so being able to set it up, and so like the first one we did, we just went down there and we filmed the interviews, but with the intention that we were just going to take the audio, and then we went back and filmed a whole lot of other stuff as well. But one of the people that we were interviewing got really nervous in front of the camera, and so they sent me in with a mic, and I just sat there and talked to her, and they took some of the audio from that, because But just being a part of it, and like booking the cars and figuring out the flights, and like we could get the film crew on the flight with the gear, but we couldn't fit me, so therefore I had to fly to Nelson, grab my parents' car, drive down to the West Coast. I had to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning to get to the first location by 8. Like, just doing all of that stuff was fucking fun. It was cool.
You're a little planning nerd.
It was problem solving. It was like, okay, well, there is always a way. There is always something that we can do.
It's like strategic puzzle building, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. It's like, it's like real nerdy puzzles. But I think that's where I really like it, and going, okay. I think the older I've got, though, so that was quite tactical. The older I've got now is, the challenge for me is, how do I get people engaged and in that process all along that way? Yeah. That for me is the puzzle that I'm really thriving in at the moment.
But you couldn't have got to that without being in the experiences.
Yeah. And done lots of different things. You know, like one of the things I did in Wellington was set up an outdoor library and dragged 30 beanbags in and out of the Civic Square for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And gave away free library books.
Yeah.
And I just went, yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not?
And you can't intellectualize the learnings from those experiences, which leads you to the position you're in now, where you're like, I understand how to move the chess pieces in a different way.
I think most people could intellectualize the fact that there was a really bad idea to put 30 beanbags on the Civic Square in Wellington and not expect them to blow away.
You could have heavy beans in them.
Yeah, no, there was just normal beans in them. So, yeah.
How many beans did you fill in your car?
I reckon there would have been about 2,000 litres worth of beans in my tiny Vits. A couple of trips. But filled all those beanbags.
Imagine if you'd had a car accident.
There would have fucking been beans everywhere. Would have been the biggest environmental disaster.
It would have been. Thank goodness that disaster didn't happen. Oh my god.
Well, I hope my stories were useful for someone.
Well, I think there's lots of insights in those, and I think they're interesting. And I think the key theme there is around self-awareness, knowing where your strengths are, and the places you don't want to play in.
Yeah.
But also knowing that the experiences in real time add up, and over time you can look back and realize you've built a whole new knowledge bank that you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
And
then it doesn't fucking matter if you don't know what you want to do. Just do something
say
yes to shit. And like, not everyone's got this like magical fairy tale pathway that they're going to take in life.
I don't know anyone that has that.
No, exactly. And I think it's this big fallacy that we all get told is a thing. It doesn't exist. Fucking don't think about it that way.
Okay. I love this. Right. Your turn for the Colbert questionnaire. Best sandwich, Kelsie?
If I ate red meat, I would probably say there's a roast beef sandwich in Wellington that is next level.
How do you know if you don't eat red meat, Kelsie?
Well, when I used to eat red meat.
Oh, okay. I was like,
oh no,
I'm going to
totally change my mind. I'm going to totally change my mind. In the Colombo, here in Christchurch, there is, I think it's called the Good Sandwich Company, chicken and peanut slaw on a Turkish bread. fucking amazing. It's such a good sandwich. The best sandwich.
Shout out to all of these places.
Yeah.
What's one thing you own that you should really throw out?
My self-doubt.
Now who took us to do it? Well done.
I've got 2 140-litre bins of yarn that I either need to do something with or give away.
Or both. You've got 2 of them.
Yeah, one of each. If anyone needs some yarn, let me know.
What is the scariest animal?
A honey badger.
Oh, they're fierce.
Yeah, they're fucking scary as fuck.
They never give up.
No,
I feel like I was a honey badger in a past life. Watch out. Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Oh.
Yeah, I grew up in an apple orchard.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair.
Grew up in an apple bin.
Have you ever asked someone for their autograph?
Yes.
Who was that?
Irene Van Dyke. Fuck, I was the biggest netball nerd.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Are you still?
Yeah. Oh, nah, not as much.
You'd watch the Black Ferns over the Fast
Yeah,
Ferns.
100%.
What is the netball team?
It's Silver Ferns, and then there's the Fast Ferns that have just been, the Fast Five they've just been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm probably more Black Ferns and F1 now. And then my nana used to bring me, every year she'd go to Disneyland, and she used to bring me back, I had an autograph book with all of the Disney characters' autographs in it.
That's super cute.
I've still got it.
Is it Nana Ann?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah.
That's so cute. What do you think happens when we die?
I think we just cease to exist. I think we're just a wonderful memory, and that's it. I think it's more important for the people that are left behind than us. We're just gone.
Yeah, that's such an interesting perspective, because I'm like, that's the first time I've thought about it from what my experience of it all will be.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter to you.
Yeah, exactly. You're not there anymore.
Yeah,
that's
it's more about the people that are there, and so you're just a beautiful, wonderful memory.
I agree with you. I like that.
Yeah.
Like that take on it for your self-experience. I like that.
Have you ever watched the Ricky Gervais TV show Afterlife?
I started to, and then I got...
It's real sad.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'm emotionally stable enough to watch this.
Yeah, no fear. You have to be.
If you're in moments of grief, don't watch it.
Yeah, no, don't watch it. Absolutely not.
But favourite action movie, what would that be?
7 Psychopaths.
That sounds horrific. What is it about?
It's about 7 different psychopaths, and it's got Woody Harrelson in it, and it's got
this is after my
Colin Farrell, and it's got Sam Rockwell and Christopher Walken. It's so good.
Is it a recent movie?
Nah, it's been out for years, but it is like all these different like intertangling stories of the 7 different psychopaths. It's really good. Sam Rockwell is amazing in it.
Not adding it to my must-see list. I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Favourite smell?
Probably roses. My nana had like a huge rose garden at her house, and it's always been a huge part of my family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Rose Garden and the Christchurch Botanic Gardens?
Yes, but not when the roses are in flower.
Okay. Hot tip, go there.
Well, it was such a big part, especially in Nelson and Tasman, right? And so like even like some of my best friends worked in the rose gardens up there and like did it every year. So yeah.
There's a beautiful one called Christchurch City that's in the Rose Garden here. It's really nice.
And we're going to have to go on a nana date and go and see the roses.
See the beauties and the roses?
Okay.
We are such little old ladies. Your least favourite smell?
Okay, so this is very specific.
Oh, God.
But the smell as you open up a bar the morning after a big night, and it doesn't matter how well you've cleaned it, it's like the smell of Red Bull and vomit and hungover, and it just is the specific smell when you have to do the opening shift the morning after a big night at a bar.
Yeah, that is specific, and it sounds rewarding.
Yeah.
Exercise, worth it?
Depends on the exercise. What type of exercise we're talking about.
Are you being rude?
I am now. Moving on. Next question.
Flat or sparkling?
Sparkling.
Most used app on your phone.
TikTok. TikTok.
You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
Okay, I'm going to say The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay, you're way cooler than me.
Absolutely am not.
You are. What number am I thinking of?
7.
Oh, I was, but I changed it to 5.
It's
because I said 7. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
I love that. That absolutely sums you up. Not to be morbid, but when you died, that's going on your headstone.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Kelsie died saying, yeah, why the fuck not?
Going in sideways.
Okay, sorry for making that about your death.
It wouldn't be one of our podcasts if it wasn't.
Okay, so thank you so much, Kelsie, for being honest and open about your experiences, your toxic relationship with Wellington and how you've tried to break up with it many times, the life lessons, the shit you've said yes to, and how you've built your competency to be kick-ass at what you do. And to everyone listening in, thank you again for listening in. We do release these episodes regularly wherever you get your podcasts. So please, please, please give us a good old 5 stars. We love that. Subscribe to the episodes so you get the latest downloads and connect with us on all the channels. If you've got any ideas for topics, any more questions for Kels, any stories you want to share with us, we love hearing them. So please do reach out. And until next time, get out there, back yourself and say, yeah, why the fuck not?